There we go. All right, folks, this is Rabble Rouse and Rich Bergeron.
Hey, Detroit Tiny Pacquiao.
And Psychic Compact, full of predictions, raring to go. The crystal ball is cooking.
And this is what we call Fight Talk Unlimited, the FNU Combat Sports Show. It goes by many names, but we have a lot to discuss this week as usual, and more so news than fight events, but some pretty big news, earth-shaking news today, actually. Just came down in the MMA community. There's going to be a trade. You didn't think this was possible, a trade talk in MMA.
This is a first, Tony. First.
It's unfreaking believable. I thought I was reading it wrong when I saw it, but yeah, they're talking about trading Demetrious Johnson, the much maligned, non-entertaining Demetrious Johnson, for the much maligned wrestle-fucking Daniel Askren, or Ben Askren, I should say.
Ben, yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But,
well, to me, it's good. It's a good news, bad news scenario. The good news is they're finally bringing him in, and let's see if anyone can stop his takedowns. Now, I don't know, Rich, if you remember him from the Bellator days.
Oh, yes.
But his wrestling was. I can't think of anyone better. I cannot think of anyone better. And he really picked up his aggression in his latter fights there and started finishing guys, because before he would just wrestle fuck them. But he under Duke Lucas's tutelage, he started finishing guys. Now the bad news is this didn't happen many years ago, because he's been semi-retired. And we'll see who's going to step up to fight. Mike Perry's calling him out already. Because Askren tweeted that I'm not here next welterweights want to welcome me, and Mike Perry stepped right in, so good for him.
Well, they both have multiple fights left on their deals, even though technically Askren is retired. This could just be a matter of, just switching sides. No money exchange, nothing. So it'll be interesting to see if that works out. But it's also interesting to see that one of the biggest worldwide competitors of the UFC making a deal with the UFC in the first place.
Yeah, this is exciting. And, who knows? Johnson will probably pick up more fights overseas than he could do in this country. He's just never connected. But,
he'll be a big fish in a small pond again, too. And a lot of the Asians are a bit taller. So maybe even though no one back here, no one watches a whole bunch of one. I don't think I'd see much of that league. But I'm excited for Askren. I mean, he's been calling out GSP, and now that would be a fascinating fight if it can be made. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Askren 18-0 in MMA, 1-0 contest, 15-0 in Bellator and 1 since 2010. And he announced his retirement in November of 2017, so he hasn't been off the shelf too long. And of course, Johnson lost his title to Cejudo back in August. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think Ben was just bored with the level of competition in one, and I think that he felt that I can't really prove anything else over here. I beat everyone that they put in with me, and if I can't make it to the big show, I mean, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. It's kind of vibe I got from him on that. So this is exciting. I mean, I just like to see if anyone can stop this freight train. No one has been successful at it yet.
Right. And, that's your earth-shattering MMA news. How about some earth-shattering boxing news? You know what I'm talking about, Tony?
What are you talking about, Rich?
Manny Pacquiao has signed to work with Premier Boxing Champions and Al Haymon.
Wow, no, I did not hear that.
Yeah,
Wow.
I heard this. Wow. Monday, he signed officially with Al Haymon. He's going to become part of Premier Boxing Champions. And, of course, he's the only boxer to win world titles in 8 weight classes. He's obviously always been promoted by Top Rank's Bob Arum. But that's a fierce rival of Haymon, so obviously when the tensions started rising up with Manny and Bob over his last fight, and, just cutting Bob out almost completely of, everything to do with the fight except for the TV rights. And then the TV rights went wrong, so I think that was the last step for Manny. I think he tweeted something about, give me my money. I want my money. And then they settled that, and they figured that out, and then he just moved on. So he is all done with Top Rank. And this is very interesting because, this is a whole new career for Manny. He can fight all the welterweights in Premier Boxing Champions if he wants. And it'll all be, huge for whatever network is promoting it because everybody wants to see the guy. And it's also huge because Al Haymon is not only advisor of Floyd Mayweather, but he's a close personal friend. And Al Haymon is one of the only people that personally visited Floyd when he was in jail with a domestic assault thing. So, obviously, this is huge for the rematch. It's pretty much guaranteed. Pretty much, almost guaranteed. Showtime, everything, all his connections to Haymon and Mayweather. It's almost guaranteed to happen. But at the same time, the Khabib versus Floyd talk is increasingly
in Moscow. In Moscow. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, Floyd, he's like, if Moscow's cold, Vegas.
Only if Adelaide Bird can judge.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen in Moscow. And I wonder what I wonder how that fight would sell in Moscow.
I don't know, but Floyd seems convinced that it'll do better than the McGregor fight. So. Well,
here's the thing, Tony. Tony, to bring you up to speed on it, Khabib's a monster on the ground. A monster. But he's not known for his stand-up, even though he landed a right hand on Conor. But, he's never really, he's got some knockouts, but it's usually on the ground. And he's devastating on the ground. I don't know if he's ever had a boxing match in his life. I don't think so. I don't think he has. And the point is, we've seen a guy who was considered a good boxer by MMA standards. We've seen how that worked out against Floyd. And what is the deal with Floyd? Is it finance? Is his ego so big he's missing spotlight? Is it a combination of both? And why won't he call out someone? Well, how about a rematch with Canelo? There's some trash talk going on there too.
You look at it this way. He is a smart business guy, so he's thinking, screw the legacy, I want to make the most money with the least amount of effort and chance. So how are you going to do that? One, face a guy I've already faced before. Everybody wants to see what he thinks. Two, face a guy from MMA that's going to get blown out of the water, but he just wants to prove something. And Floyd has always had a chip on his shoulder about all these MMA fighters saying they're superior athletes. And he was always one of the ones to stick his nose in that debate. Even going so far as saying, could beat Ronda Rousey. It was stupid.
Right, no, to be fair to Floyd, she started that.
Oh, yeah, she started.
She did. She started that, and then they asked Floyd, he says, who's he? No. So I don't know the answer. I mean, now, she was just respectful. That's her down.
So, anyway.
Set the record straight there.
Sorry. My bad on that one. But anyway, Floyd has basically gotten to the point where he knows from the first time that he retired that if he sits on the shelf long enough, people will beg for him to come back. And that's where the supply and demand concept comes in, Not enough supply, the demand goes up. So I think that he's just so addicted to waiting for the best opportunity to come along and then being able to make hundreds of millions of dollars on it. It's a no-brainer every time.
Well,
especially for Khabib.
Now think about it. How will that Khabib fight be promoted? Because with Conor, he'd been knocking guys senseless.
Yeah.
And he'd been doing it with short, straight shots. And Conor also had an amateur boxing background. I know it was absurd, but Conor did win the first 3 rounds against Floyd. And some had him winning, I believe, the 8th of the night. I can't remember now, but on some cards. Unless you were a Las Vegas judge, and I think they had it to shut out. Got to expect that. But aside from that, Conor was somewhat competitive early on. I have to say that.
Yeah.
But Khabib, this is nuts. And I know that we said it was nuts with Conor, but how do you promote this? How can you possibly say he's going to have a chance? I don't know. I'm throwing it up for you guys. What do you think?
What's interesting, because recently John Jones decided to stick his nose in the whole boxing thing and say, I could destroy people with 2 years of pure boxing training, which is for the first time I think I've ever heard a fighter say, an MMA fighter say, well, I need serious time to train in boxing before I make that crossover. Conor McGregor was so brash and bold, he did it in less than a year. And then here we've got Khabib ready to do it as soon as possible because he knows it's going to be the biggest money day in his career, and he's probably not going to get even a year. Not even a few months, And although, you can argue that MMA fighters train boxing their whole careers in one aspect or another, it's not the same.
It's different.
It's not the same at all. It's a very different hybrid altogether. And the only thing that he can bring from MMA that might help him in boxing that Floyd doesn't have to his advantage is the ability to grapple on the feet, and you can't do too much of that in boxing, but you can get close and hold on,
Well, yeah, and a lot
depends on
a lot depends on the referee. I think that's why Floyd says it's going to be the auspices of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, not choosing the referee.
And, Floyd's been known to throw some elbows before when the referee wasn't looking, so...
Well, Floyd's going to apologize, it happens.
But I just can't see that... I just don't know how they're going to market it. Khabib is really... I don't think he's stopped anyone with
Well, I'll tell you how they market it is Russia versus USA. That's easy.
It would be like the Russian baseball team
MMA
taking on a
versus
major
boxing.
league team. They don't play baseball in Russia. Khabib's not a boxer.
Yeah.
I don't know. They say if a man lives long enough, you see about everything. So I guess I can't rule everything out. But I just can't understand it. Who? And are they going to charge another $100 for the pay-per-view?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Khabib, he's saying there's more Russians than there are Irish, but I don't see a whole bunch of plane loads of Russians flying to Las Vegas for this. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before.
Anyway, we reached Dana White.
On that quick. What I think, and you're right. He's got to strike while the iron's hot, and right now the iron is, smolderingly hot. It's white hot because of that whole incident. We're jumping over the cage and going after McGregor's cornerman. Now, style-wise, fight for fight, a boxing match, he has no chance. If you have minimal striking in an MMA environment, and then that means you have negative striking in a boxing environment. But it's a good point. I'm going to steal that. If you have a copyrighted, I'll put a right beside it. Okay? You steal away. So you figure. So right there, you have that. Now it's like, okay, but you got to strike when the iron's hot because you're being talked about. You go on and you fight a rematch with Conor, and say Conor catches you with a major, right hand or left hook or whatever he hits you with, and sprawls you out. Well, your iron just got extinguished. Or you go out there with, another guy, and you get choked out or tapped out in 34 seconds. Your marketability is gone. So right now, if this chance for you to make a major cash grab, you grab it. Will the fight be competitive? No. Will the press conferences be entertaining? Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a major, when you get the Mayweather involved on this shit, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. With, All Access 24/7, off the charts. But when it comes down to the fight, dud is a dud can be.
Yeah, and with Khabib, there's just not a lot of people that relate to him. He's not a natural showman. He's much more of a fighter and a warrior. You look at his background. And, no disrespect intended, but Conor's a showman. Conor's a circus barker. He knows how to build a gate. Not as good as Ali, maybe, but he's got that way about him. He can pull in there, whereas Khabib just it's not there. He's going to have to really force it, and will it come up too phony? Maybe Conor was phony about things too, just trying to build a gate, but he gets away with it. Everyone can't do that. Well, we'll see. I may be eating some crow again. It's been a bad year for me and eating crow. That's for sure.
Hey, if you saute it right, it still can be good.
Yeah. Well, the thing about this that makes me wonder what the hell is going on over there at the UFC. They're paying Dana White too much money, I think, because there's a big opportunity here after the Mayweather fight to embrace boxing a little bit more. They put out these T-shirts and they threw out the idea that they were going to create Zuffa Boxing. And what have they done with it since the McGregor-Mayweather fight? Absolutely nothing. And now just because this controversy surrounding Khabib McGregor fight and Khabib wins, now they're all of a sudden wanting to go back into boxing again. and actually Dana White has now come out and said no, don't even believe any of that crap. It's not happening. So maybe he saw what happened with the McGregor fight and the whole negotiations when McGregor came back wanting all this money and said, no, we're not going to let this happen to Khabib. So I think they lied about all that. I don't think they ever wanted to get into boxing after the McGregor fight. Because I do believe they think they're going to lose fighters in the long run to cross over and do well with it because of the pay situation.
You might as well have me in your corner or somebody else that knows nothing. You might as well have me in your corner or somebody else that knows nothing.
That's all he had to say. But anyway, yeah, we've used that clip before. That is actually a real clip. He really did say that. I didn't doctor that at all. He said that about a fight on the Ultimate Fighter show. He really did say that. He admitted that he knows nothing. So, you heard it here live. Dana White knows nothing. Now, here's another story from boxing. It's not quite earth-shattering, but it's interesting. Floyd Mayweather, getting back to the Mayweather subject, has an advisor named Leonard Ellerby. And believe it or not, I stood right next to him, not knowing who he was. Floyd Mayweather's open workouts while he was doing mitts with Uncle Roger. And I took pictures the whole time standing right next to Leonard. And so anyway, Leonard Ellerby had a public spat with Oscar De La Hoya over Twitter when Oscar made a public bid to sign Gervonta Davis, who was under contract with Mayweather Promotions. So Davis had been kind of bitching and moaning over not being active, and so De La Hoya came on to Twitter and pitched him to move to DAZN, because obviously that's the story we talked about last week. The big earth-shattering news was the richest deal in sports history was DAZN making a deal with Canelo. So Oscar De La Hoya put out the bid, put out the idea to jump ship from Mayweather, and he said, Gervonta, you are a beast in the ring and fun to watch. Give me a call so I can get you some fights on DAZN, the Zone, whatever you want to call it. So, the other beast says, whatever the hell you on, you've completely lost your damn mind. Do I need to remind you Gervonta is under contract? So, yeah, little Twitter smackdown going on there. But also, De La Hoya is still promoting and working up a stir for the MMA fight, too. So, he's got a lot of irons in the fire. The Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell rematch. 3-match. So now he's rubbing Leonard Ellaby the wrong way. It's a good thing they're not West Coast and East Coast rappers, because that thing could get deadly. But, they're just loudmouth managers. So we'll see what happens if it gets any kind of serious. But I don't think any lawsuits will be filed. It's just interesting. It also makes me wonder, how much of an impact is this Zone going to make, and especially if it fails. What if it fails? Nobody's talking about that. How is it going to sustain all this money if it fails? People don't buy it. Maybe they know something we don't know about. That's a big question I have. Anyway, bare knuckle fighting just had another event, and they finished up their heavyweight Grand Prix tournament, and Sam Shoemaker didn't quite finish off the ultimate mission. He got to the finals, but he actually lost a split decision to Arnold Adams. And also Kendall Grove got KTFO knocked the fuck out in his debut in bare knuckle, so was not what he expected. Joe Riggs had some experience before, so he got the win, and Johnny Bedford seems to me, Johnny Bedford, who wasn't a very big UFC star, but he was in the UFC for a little stint. From what I've seen in the bare knuckle, he seems to be one of the best fighters they have overall, because he's gone the distance and just never looked like he was in trouble. He definitely has that boxing style that helps him out even with bare knuckle. And it's just, I don't know, it's just something about him. He's just born for the sport. So I think he's going to keep winning. But he got a unanimous decision win over Matt Murphy. Kendall Grove lost to Marcel Stamps. That was 47 seconds into round 3. Now, Marcel Stamps, I believe, has some football history. I don't know if it's NFL, but I think it's college football. Then we had Dillard Pegg beating Rusty Crowder by TKO, round 2. Joe Riggs beat Brock Weaver by unanimous decision. Adil Velasquez beat Sean West by TKO, 116 into the first round. Christine Ferrer beat Jennifer Tate by TKO, just 1 minute and 55 seconds into round 1. Harris Stevenson beat Elvin Brito by knockout, just 6 seconds into round number 5, so it's a long one. Aaron Brink versus Mike Bissett. Brink got TKO at 121 of round 1. So, Sean Merriman, also another football player, famous linebacker for, I believe, the Chargers.
Chargers, yeah.
Yeah, he's getting into the next incarnation of the bare knuckle world, the big one that's attracting all the other stars. What's his name there? Big Rig, Johnny Hendricks. He's getting into it, so we'll see how that goes. And we have a UFC fight night coming up, as well as one championship. Speaking of 2 guys that are making the trade, both of those coming up over the next couple of days. But we're going to get to the boxing schedule first, because we got some big ones coming up this weekend, and we got some big ones to talk about from last weekend. Demetrious Andrade, or Andrade, however you want to pronounce it, got a pretty easy win over Kautondakwa. Probably butchering that one. But the big one on that card that I was watching was our former guest and the son of the guy who taught me how to box, having their rematch in Boston. And then also the co-main event there was Katie Taylor from the Irish boxing team. And actually a lot of people left after her fight because the main event was supposed to be, a much bigger fight. But the other guy couldn't get his license.
Saunders and those tainted supplements. I got to see where you get those tainted supplements.
Yeah.
I've been looking for them for decades. Can't find them.
You got to go to the Tainted Supplement Superstore.
Well, what was it at? Maybe there's a little section there. You got to know people that work at GNC. Are you always the tainted section in that place? Cool. Yeah, I'm cool. You don't look cool.
I don't know how we didn't pick this as the mismatch of the week last week, but this one just popped up on. I'm looking for results from last week, and over in the United Kingdom, I don't know why it's an S, but oh no, this is this weekend. Oh, this is this weekend's mismatch. Sorry. Stuart Davies coming in 6-1 against Chris Adaway. 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 He's 8-45-4. The main event in the United Kingdom. No, wait. What am I looking at? That's a different guy. Stuart Davies, 6-1. Yeah, Chris Adaway, 8-45. There's another one. About that. And the guy is 6-85. Okay. Another one in the UK. Tommy Silcox in the main event. This is crazy. Back to back here. Tommy Silcox in the main event. 6-0. He's fighting a guy named Fonz Alexander. His record is 6-85-0. Not even a draw.
Okay, now let's do a little math. Okay, Adaway's record was what?
8-45-4.
Okay, so we got 40, so there's 110 losses, 14 wins, 110 losses. Any draws? Those guys.
4 draws for Adaway.
So we got 10, 14, 10, and 4. 14, 110, and 4. Going on my math skill.
Crazy.
Wow. Well, so we've got that in covered. Now we just need the Jesus and the Ogos.
I was trying to find. We've had a few of them. We made some up.
I was got to go to this match of the week, the Jesus play of the week, and is that usually it?
Sometimes.
Well, no, we had somebody's always got to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Ogo. So maybe the mismatch of the week was concurrent with her hideous record of the week. So maybe, I guess we're the executive committee, so we can decide if we're going to get a separate one there. Maybe we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, so we have like a conditional.
The weirdest title of the week. We've had stuff like that. We just the Elvis fight of the week. We've had that before.
The King, the Elvis fight of the week. That's what it was. Yes. Okay. The Elvis fighting. So we have not only mismatch, bad record, Elvis, Jesus, and somebody's got to be the Elvis. Cool.
Elvis, Jesus, we got them all.
Someone's got to have a sense of humor in this brutal business,
Right, so here's some results from France. Arsene Goulamarian stayed undefeated. He goes to 24-0 over Mark Flanagan. Last week he goes to 24-6. That was for the WBA World Cruiserweight title. I'm trying to find the one in Boston here. Moses fight of the week here. From last week, Paulus Moses falls to 40-5. He didn't win the vacant World Boxing Organization Africa lightweight title. Went to Emmanuel Tago. He took it to go lightweight. He is 28-1 going in, so he's 29-1 now. I don't know. It's stupid that BoxRec doesn't allow you to see the result type until you log in. But anyway. Yeah, cycling through here. Also, down in Quintana Roo, Mexico, we had Francisco Rodriguez Jr. at super flyweight, winning his bout with Hernan Marquez. Rodriguez improves to 29-4-1. Marquez falls to 43-10-2. That was for the WBC Latino super flyweight title. Let's just love it when these guys have records that should be going for a world title and it's for a Latino title. Just because it's in Mexico. Maybe they could have. Maybe they got all the people from the caravan to show up. They're looking for something to do. Anyway, looking for the big one. The big one. Of course, they got to put the one with the most recognizable fights on the bottom here. Alright, also last week in the United Kingdom we had some pretty big fights. Johnny Garton moves to 23-1-1 over Gary Corcoran, falls to 18-3. That was for the vacant BBB of C British welterweight title. And Anthony Yard stays undefeated at light heavyweight, moves to 17-0. He beat up on Walter Gabriel Sakara for the WBO Intercontinental light heavyweight title. We have a new Intercontinental champion. Okay. We had another former guest of ours, Emmanuel Rodriguez, 18-0. I think he was a former guest of ours. I think of the other guy. I think of the other guy. I think that fought Andre Ward. Edwin Rodriguez. Anyway, Emmanuel is 18-0. He's fighting Jason Maloney, who's 17-0. So there's our somebody's got to go fight from last week, and it was Jason Maloney who lost to Zoe. So Rodriguez goes home with the International Boxing Federation World Bantamweight title in that one, and then also cruiserweights Uniel Dorticos and Matus Masternak went out in this Florida fight card. Dorticos improved to 23-1. Masternak fell to 41-5 from that one. And then cruiserweight Mike Perez got a win, improved to 24-3-1 over Keith Tapia, who is 18-2 now. I don't know if he's related to what's the other Tapia? The famous Tapia? Tony? Tapia. Who's the famous Tapia? Johnny Tapia.
Johnny.
Is Keith Tapia related to him? Yeah. Keith Tapia? Is that a relation?
I don't know, because I know there's been a lot of Tapias out there. It's a very common Hispanic surname.
Right.
Glenn Tapia's been out there. Keith Tapia's been out there. Could they be? They could be, but I've heard no direct correlation between them.
Well, there you go. There's your expert from Ancestry.com, Tony the Tornado.
Yeah.
He does it all, folks. He slices, he dices. No. Mike Perez got the win there. He gets the World Boxing Association Fed Latin Cruiserweight title with the win. And eventually we will get to Austin here. I'm working on it. We had another one worth mentioning, though, over, I believe, in the UK. Nope, this is the Boston one. Okay. There was some UK fighters on there because Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to be on there. So they had Tevin Farmer there in super featherweight fight, 26-4-1, fighting James Tennyson, who was 22-2, and Tevin Farmer got his 27th win. To go with 4 losses and 1 draw, and Tennyson takes his 3rd loss. Demetrious Andrade stayed undefeated, 26-0 now, over Walter Katondokwa, who's 17-1 now. So that was another last week. Somebody's always had to go. And our former guest, Toka Khan Clary, took his second loss, unfortunately, over, I believe, a UK guy, Kid Galahad, 24-0 going in. So he's 25-0 now, and Toka falls to 25-2. As I mentioned, Katie Taylor is the co-main event over Cindy Serrano. That was for a couple titles, the IBF World Female Lightweight title and the WBA World Female Lightweight title. And Katie smoked her. Unanimous decision, I believe. 10-0 was going in. She was going in. Bruce to 11-0. Cindy falls to 27-6-3. And another former guest of ours, Ryan Kilsweski, lost his bout to Tommy Coyle, who's definitely a British guy. I've seen him on a lot of UK cards. 24-4-0 going in, so he gets his 25th win. Him and Kid Galahad celebrating their 25th wins in Boston. And Ryan Kilsweski falls to 29-4, so he's looking still for his elusive 30th win. And then we had a big one, Mark the Bazooka DeLuca, the Italian Bazooka, I should say. It's 22-1 now. He avenged his one loss to Walter Wright, who falls to 17-5. Walter Two Guns Wright, our former guest, was actually pretty amazed, I think, himself to win the last fight in a home area here, up here in my hometown almost, right next door, Guilford, New Hampshire. So he was kind of surprised to get that win last time, I think. But I fought a good fight. And, I didn't see this one. Of course, this wasn't televised. Somehow they didn't get it on TV. But yeah, DeLuca obviously swept the cards here on this one and showed his resilience and ability to improve, I guess. Also, super featherweight Scott Quigg, also another British guy, 34-2-2 coming in. He got win number 35 over Mario Briones, who was also looking for his 30th win and fell short. He's 29-8-2 now.
So that's what I heard was the Tevin Farmer fight, and Tevin has been just leaps and bounds over the last 5 years. I first saw him about 5.5 years ago, and I said this before. That first time I saw him, I was not impressed. I was like, he was this real tough Mexican kid. He was obviously much more talented. At the time, his record was something like maybe 14 or something along those lines. But you could really tell that he really wasn't totally applying himself to his craft. And that made the Mexican kid brought the fight to him. Farmer did enough to win, but to me it wasn't eye-opening. A few months later, that's the fight Tom and I go to. He's fighting a real tough Puerto Rican kid named Victor Vasquez out of Philly. And Victor's one of the guys that what happened, Victor is going to bring the fight to you, tough as nails. And I'm expecting him man. I said, Farmer does come on his game. Vasquez is going to rough it up. He's going to rotate over the coals. And Farmer dominated. And I was like, and then he stopped him and he ran on it. I remember saying, come on, I said, wow. I said, I wasn't expecting this. I said, I'm really, really impressed. So he did a 180 on me in about a 4-month span. And then he turned around, next thing you know, he's winning fights. He's fought that, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Ivan Radkic, I think it was, dominates him. And I'm like, shit, that was on FS1. And I was really impressed with that. I'm like, you know what, he's really starting to become a talented fighter. And then another guy that was a former world champion, his name's escaping me and I apologize, but he dominated him. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm really, really becoming a fan now. And then I met him at the 2300 Arena a year or so ago. A nice kid. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I was wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about this guy. And he kept impressing me, and he gets a title shot against the Japanese guy. And to be gracious, you give the Japanese guy 2, maybe 3 rounds. He gets the decision. And it's like, what a disgrace. And by chance, he tested positive for banned substance. They declare the fight vacant. Now he's going down to fight in Australia. Was it Billy Dibb maybe? pick, and he's fighting an Australian in Australia. And I remember going into the fight, we're like, oh man, he's going to get again. He dominated the fight so bad that every judge gave him every round. You know you dominated the fight. It's like that guy's mother, brother, sister, uncle, they could have all been the judges and still lost every round. But, I mean, so now going into last week, now he is trying to get a fight with Gervonta Davis. You know, Mayweather fighter, it could be on a pay-per-view, would bring in a bit of money. But I remember reading one guy who was saying, you know what, he's looking ahead of his opponent, who's a good puncher. I mean, he could, lose this, just by getting, caught looking ahead. Dominated the fight. And I know another guy that I read a lot of says, if Mayweather is foolish enough to leave us in with him, he will slap Davis around for 12 rounds. That's exactly what the guy said.
We had another one we missed last week. We didn't talk about yet. Ryoto Murata losing to Rob Brandt. Both of them had one loss going in. Murata takes his second to go with 14 wins. Brandt moves to 24-1 there, and he gets the WBA World Middleweight title in process. That was at Park Theater out in Vegas last weekend. The co-main event was super lightweights Maxim Dadashev improving to 12-0 over Antonio DeMarco, who falls to 33-7-1. That was for the NABF super lightweight title. And then Esquiva Falco, 21-0 going in. He improves to 22-0 over Guido Nicolas Pitto, 25-5-2. And I believe we've had the Guido fight of the week too before.
Right.
So I don't know if we had it last week, but maybe we forgot. Anyway, so that rounds out last week. And then we got to go to this week where we just have a multitude of big fights, including two former guests of ours fighting each other in a heated rematch. Big Rocky Marciano fan enough to put a tattoo of him on her. Shelly Vincent fighting Heather Hardy this weekend. Grudge match and a half. Heather Hardy is leading MMA for this one to come back to boxing, and it's a pretty big thing for her because she's pretty much been doing all MMA lately. Anyway, so where do we start? Let's see. Oh, mismatch of the week. Those other ones we mentioned earlier. This one puts it to shame. We got a fight in Trinidad here, Bolivia, and heavyweight Saul Farah, 67 wins, 23 losses, 3 draws. He's fighting Irvin Chavez Vargas, who has 1 win and 4 losses. That's rough. Also, the co-main event is another mismatch. Esteban Hillman Tababari, who is 42-21-2, fighting Ricardo Rios, who's 0-0-1. 1 draw to his record, to his career, fighting a guy with 42 wins. 1 draw. Ouch.
Yeah, I think that category is too unique.
Crazy.
Left to start in category. I mean, you can imagine 0-0-12.
And then we have fights over in Sofia, Bulgaria. A couple Russians here. Kubrat Pulev at heavyweight, 25-1 going in against Huey Fury, who is Tyson's brother, I believe, and known to eat some contaminated boar, some tainted boar. 21-1 going in, so somebody's one's got to go there. And we got cruiserweights backing him up. Tervel Pulev, 11-0, fighting Leonardo Damian Bruzizi. That's not a good name for a boxer. Bruzizi. He bruises easy. He's 19-5. Bruzizi. He must have got made fun of in school. Anyway, another Gennady is also on this card. Gennady Martirosyan. He is 26-3 at middleweight, fighting Faoud El Masudi, who is 15-11. And then the big Bulgarian super welterweight title is on the line between Stilian Kostov, who is 21-8, versus Josef Panov, who is 12-3. There's another mismatch way down the card. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's first name. Zdravko Popov. He is 2-0-1, fighting Giuseppe Lori, who is 56-20. At super welterweight. Crazy stuff. There's a guy who's 5-100. That's nice. 5 wins, 100 losses, 1 draw. Fighting a guy who's making his pro debut. It's always nice.
Well, we got the experience advantage.
Wow. So that's 5 wins and 100 losses, right?
Yep. So he has a 5% winning rate.
Okay. That's
easy.
No draws.
Yeah. It's less than a 5% winning rate because he has 105 fights.
Okay, so he either wins. So he either wins or loses. There's no doubt.
One draw. Sorry.
Oh, 1 draw.
1 draw.
So he's 5-101.
Yes. All right. International Boxing Federation European Super Welterweight title on the line over in Bayern, Germany. Jamal Saidi, 13-0, fighting Sasha Yengoyen, who's 41-4-1. And nothing else really crazy on that card. Another one in Germany, Dominic Bosel, different card, 27-1, fighting Enrico Koling, 26-2 for the EBU European Light Heavyweight title. And these guys don't have crazy records, but Roman Fress, 4-0, fighting Bjorn Blaschke, 12-9-1. Fress is 4-0. That's for the vacant Germany BDB Cruiserweight title. BDB. And we got looks like a female mismatch of the week. Ramona Kuhn, 27-1, fighting Sylvia Maxim, who's 2-4. 2-4. Alright. We're about halfway through this week. Here's somebody who's got to go fight from Baja California, Mexico. Alessandro Rigaccini, 21-0 at welterweight, fighting Andres Villman, who is 14-0. That one's for the vacant WBC silver welterweight title. Co-main events, super welterweights, Mario Maraz, 25-4, fighting Manuel Aguilar, who's 20-11. And we got, Jesus Fight of the Week. Jesus Fight of the Week alert. Rodolfo Orozco, 17-2-3, fighting Jesus Antonio Rios. Jesus got a lot of wins. 37 wins, 11 losses, and 1 draw. So, 11 people out there say they can beat Jesus. Say they beat Jesus up.
Came to Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus. What'd you do tonight?
I had a come to Jesus moment. We had the weigh-ins. Sinaloa, Mexico. We also have some decent fights going on. Omar Chavez, 36-5-1, fighting Nicolas Luquez Palacios, who's 10-5, and then we got Pedro Campa, 29-1, fighting Adrian Jose Perez Aparicio, who's 10-4. And here's a big female fight for Mexico. World Boxing Council World Female Bantamweight title. Mariana Juarez. I didn't even know there was a female with this amount of fights. She's got 50 wins, 9 losses, and 4 draws. Going against Susie Ramadan, who is 27-2. And then we got co-main event Adolf Castillo, 8-0-2, fighting Martin Casillas, who is 17-11-1. I really didn't know there was a female with over 50 fights. Never mind 50 wins. lot of fights. Alright. What else we got here? There's one from Madrid. Mark Vidal, 11-1-5, fighting Kiko Martinez, who's 38-8-2. That's for the EBU European Featherweight title. Co-main event, Mariano Hilario, 17-6, fighting Aiden Silveira, who is 9-1. That's a vacant Spanish super middleweight title. Alright. Over in Switzerland, main event, another female title fight. WBA World Female Flyweight, Super Flyweight title. You notice there's no, like, Feta Latin female titles? None of this long-winded bullcrap with the females. It's always a WBA, WBO. I think they got it figured out for that side. Anyway, Maribel Ramirez, she's 12-9-2, fighting Ania Seiki, who's 34-3-2 at Super Flyweight. WBA title on the line. And there's some UK fights. We got John Ryder at super middleweight, 26-4, fighting Andrei Sorokin, who's undefeated at 15-0. Co-main event featherweights, Ryan Doyle, 17-2-1, fighting Jordan Gill, who's undefeated at 21-0. That's for the Commonwealth featherweight title. And then super welterweight, Ted Cheeseman, he is 14-0, fighting Asinia Byfield, who is 14-1. For the vacant BBVFC British Super Welterweight title. There's a good name for a fighter. Felix Cash, middleweight. He's 9-0, fighting Stephen Daniel, who's 14-1-3 for the vacant WBC International Silver Middleweight title. Okay, getting down to the end. Alright, we're going over those ones earlier. We get to New Orleans. We got Regis Prograis, undefeated at 22-0, fighting Terry Flanagan, who's 33-1. This one's for the interim WBC World Super Lightweight title. And we got Ivan Baranchik, 18-0, also undefeated, fighting Anthony Yigit, who is 21-0-1. For the vacant International Boxing Federation World Super Lightweight title. And then we got another fight we're talking about. Subriel Matias. He's undefeated at 11-0. He's got a big test in front of him. Fernando David Saucedo, who is 62-8-3. 73 fights under his belt. So we'll see how that goes. It's a good card, though. And a big one, big one. It's going to be on HBO. Probably one of their last cards here. Daniel Jacobs, 34-2, fighting Sergey Derevyanchenko, 12-0. Jacobs is fighting now for the vacant International Boxing Federation World Middleweight title here. And Derevyanchenko must be one of those guys who had a stellar amateur career, because it's not often you see a guy who's 12-0 against a guy who's 34-2. So I'm thinking that's what's going on there. What do you know about Derevyanchenko, Tony?
Honestly, not much.
Yeah, I never heard of him. Let's see who's fought. We'll tell you. All right. So let Bucksrick tell us about it. All right. Well, waiting for that to load. We got super featherweights in the co-main event. Alberto Machado, who is 20-0, fighting Ewendale Evans, who's 20-1. That was for the WBA World Super Featherweight title. And as I mentioned, Heather Hardy and Shelley Vincent. Heather is 21-0 as a boxer. Shelley Vincent, 23-1. This is for the vacant WBO World Female Featherweight title too. So they got a vacant title for this one. That's cool. Super welterweights Patrick Day and Elvin Ayala also fighting. Day is 15-2-1. Ayala 29-11-1. It's for the WBC Council, World Boxing Council Continental America Super Welterweight title. We got Texas, San Antonio, Raymond Cardenas. He is 15-0, or 15-1, putting Ramsey Luna 14-6 for the vacant American Boxing Federation Continental America's featherweight title. And then Ayana Vasquez, 4-0-1, fighting Aranda Paula Torres, 11-3-1 for the vacant American Boxing Federation Continental America's female featherweight title. Oh, I guess I spoke too soon on those crazy female titles. We also have Brianna Gonzalez, 3-1-2, fighting Cristina Fuentes, 9-9-6 for the vacant American Boxing Federation USA female featherweight title. So that's it. And let's see, Derevyanchenko's record. Nope, that's a different girl. That's Mariana Morris. Alright, Derevyanchenko. Let's see who he's fought. Deshaun Johnson. Toriano Johnson. He beat by TKO back in 2017. Kamal Russell. Sam Solomon. He TKO'd in Foxwoods. Jesse Nicolo, Elvin Ayala, we just talked about. He's fought people with winning records since his second fight, basically. One guy didn't. No, everybody had a winning record. It's his second fight: 21-7, 23-16, 15-5, 13-1. First guy he fought was Cromwell Gordon. 4-10 from the Ukraine. That was in Brooklyn. Anyway, so that's our boxing schedule, and then we've got a couple fights to talk about. MMA, UFC Fight Night 138. Volkan Ozdemir versus Anthony Smith. Ozdemir 15-2, Anthony Smith 30-13. And then we got co-main event of Michael Johnson versus Artem Lobov. And I don't know why they put this fight together, because Michael Johnson's going to destroy that kid.
If it happens, remember our team is technically was 8.
Oh, is he? I don't know.
Yeah, about all, if they don't put out their back and all the fallout, they'll probably show up.
Well, it was also announced today that Khabib is going to be able to keep half of his purse.
Half,
yeah.
And I guess they're going to continue. They're going to have a hearing in December.
Yeah.
Decided by this other half. Boy.
Now, as far as the main event, I know Anthony Smith is just destroying people lately. I don't remember Volkan Ozdemir that much. I know I've seen a couple of his fights, but I don't think he was very dynamic, or it was a unanimous decision. It wasn't a crazy knockout, so he's not really a big name.
Remember, Volkan had those little, like, 2-inch punches.
Yeah.
He was putting people to sleep with. He really had that down. Couldn't make it work against Cormier. So he was first fight back since then. So,
Anthony Smith has 2 wins in a row. Mauricio Hua and Rashad Evans both knocked him out in the first round. Knocked them both out, I should say. And then Thiago Santos was his only loss before that. He had 3 wins in a row. Well, it wasn't his only loss, but it was his only loss in that stretch. And then he had a loss to Cesar Ferreira back in 2016 in the Ultimate Fighter 23 finale. And before that, he had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. Ended with his last fight, or his first fight in the UFC, Cerrone versus Oliveira, UFC Fight Night 83. He beat Leonardo Guimaraes by his decision. But it was the very first UFC fight. And then he's only lost 2 since then. Well, once since then, Teco Santos. So he's doing pretty good, improving his game. And then this Volkan Ozdemir. I do believe this has got to be his first main event. Only 15-2. But he's been in the UFC quite a while. And then we got Michael Johnson, as I mentioned, his record 18-13, going to Artem Lobov, who's 13-14 with one draw. He does train with Conor McGregor, but he's got the worst defense I've ever seen on an MMA fighter. Ever. He thinks he's Floyd Mayweather in there, but he doesn't have a shoulder roll. He's got his one hand so low. But anyway.
Well, and then he doesn't really throw straight punches at all.
No.
I mean, everything's a hook or an uppercut, wild swings, which can work on occasion, but remember that shortest distance between two lines, just 2 points is a straight line. And, yeah, I get the feeling Michael Johnson's going to have his bit on.
We got Misha Sharkunov, 13-4, fighting Patrick Cummins, who is 10-5. Andrei Sukumtath, who is 12-6, fighting Jonathan Martinez, who is 9-1. Gian Valente, who is 16-10, fighting Ed Herman, 23-13. Alex.
Ed Herman. There's a blast from the past.
Yeah, he hasn't been around in a while, but he's back again. Alex Garcia, also on the card, he's 15-5, fighting Port McGee, 18-7. Nordine Taleb, 14-5, fighting Sean Strickland, who's 19-3. Nasrat Hakparast, who is 9-2, fighting Tabalt Gauti, who is 12-4. Chris Fishgold, 17-1-1, fighting Calvin Qatar, Boston guy, 18-3. Then we got Sarah Moraes, who is 5-3, fighting Talita Bernardo, who's 5-3. Tejovan Edwards, 6-1, fighting Don Madge, who's 7-3-1. Second fight of the night is Arjan Singh Gular, who's 7-1, fighting Marcelo Golm, who's 6-1. And the first fight of the night, crazy records for a first fight, but Stephen Ray, 21-8, fighting Jessen Ayari, who's 16-4. And we've got one championship Pursuit of Greatness, it's called, this event here on October 26th. Tomorrow, I guess. Aung Lan Sang in the main event. He's 23-10, fighting Muhammad Karaki, who's 9-0. We got a co-main event of Rafael Nunes, 11-2, fighting Mavlid Kaibulaev, who is 12-0. We got Po Thaw, Phoe. He is 6-0, fighting Keanu Suba, 6-3. Radim Rahman, 3-1, fighting Masakazu Imanari, who is 36-18-2. Jeez, that's a lot of fighting for MMA. And we got Yi Thuy Ni, 3-1, fighting Mike Yain, who is 1-0. And talk about a lot of fights. Luis Santos coming in with a record of 64-11-1, fighting Daichi Abe, who is 6-2. That's quite a mismatch. 64-11. That's nuts. Zudong Ma also on the card in the second fight of the night. He's 1-1, fighting Ahmad Kais Tesor, who's 4-1. And then we got debuting Rudy Agustin versus Kaji Eden in the first fight of the night. Eden is 1-1. 64 damn fights. That's a lot of fights. I wonder if he's ever fought Travis. Travis Fulton, he's got 800 fights, that guy. Jesus. I still gotta try to track him down for an interview. Chances are he's fighting that night. Whoa, guys. Alright. So I guess that's it for this week. That's all the story material we have and all the events coming up. Unless you guys got anything else to chip in or add, I think we'll call it tonight.
Alright, no, I don't have anything else. Just get ready for a Halloween weekend, up to my shenanigans as always.
Alright.
All right, guys. Enjoy what we can this weekend. We'll check in next week.
Sounds good.
Adios. Thanks for stopping by.